Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges and fellow educators, have you ever wondered if you wake up in the morning and see the face in the mirror that looks so unfamiliar? What if the streets of your neighborhood feel so unrecognizable? What if the people you love the most become strangers to you? These situations that I've just mentioned were not just happened in the movies. These are actually the heartbreaking reality for millions of people around the world living with Alzheimer's disease, a progressive brain disorder that gradually destroys memory, thinking ability, and ultimately the sense of identity, dignity, and connection to others. My name is Willihelm from the Department of Nutrition, Kemenkes, Bandung. In this occasion, I'm going to be delivering a speech entitled Facing Alzheimer's, Together We Can Do Better. Today, as we gather under the theme Global Perspective on Brain Health, I invite you to explore one of the most urgent brain health challenges of our time, Alzheimer's disease. With over 55 million people worldwide living with dementia and more than 1.2 million cases in Indonesia alone, this is no longer just a medical issue. It is a social, economic, and ethical crisis. And it demands a global and interdisciplinary response. Now let me briefly introduce you to Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease, or AZ, is the most common form of dementia, accounting for around 60 to 70% of all cases, and it is characterized by the buildup of abnormal proteins in the brain, beta amyloid and tau, which interfere with communication between neurons and ultimately cause brain cells to die. Symptoms begin subtly, such as forgetfulness, disorientation, mood changes. But over time, the disease progresses into profound confusion, speech difficulties, and total dependence on caregivers. It has no cure. Only compassionate care, early detection, and innovative support systems can slow the impact. Internationally, high-income countries are investing in early screening tools, gene therapy, and digital monitoring. For example, in Japan, dementia-friendly communities are built around universal signage, color-coded spaces, and trained volunteers. In the UK, has even appointed a minister for loneliness to tackle social isolation, a key risk factor for AZ. However, in many developing countries, including Indonesia, the story is different. Awareness is still quite low. Alzheimer's is often mistaken for normal aging process. Families hide the condition out of stigma and shame. Diagnosis comes late and few specialists are available, especially outside the major cities. Nevertheless, we are not helpless. In Indonesia, the Alzheimer's Indonesia Foundation, or they call themselves ALZI, are leading the awareness campaigns like Jangan Maklum dengan Pikun or Do Not Normalize Forgetfulness. It is a simple message with powerful implications. So how do we fight back against Alzheimer's? Ladies and gentlemen, these are few ideas that I can offer to you at this opportunity. First of all, medical science must lead with research into early biomarkers, personalized medicine, and non-invasive diagnostics. The second, technology developers can build wearable devices, smart home systems, and memory-assistive apps that enhance independence. And the third, social workers and psychologists can support families and caregivers with training and emotional resilience tools. And the fourth, and most importantly, educators like you and me, we can foster understanding and empathy in our classrooms and communities. Moreover, as a lecturer in a nutrition department, I cannot emphasize enough the critical role of diet in both prevention and progression. Studies show that hyperglycemia, a chronic condition of high blood sugar, is not just a concern for diabetes, but also a contributor to brain inflammation, oxidative stress, and neural damage. This connection makes type 2 diabetes a significant risk factor for developing Alzheimer's disease. It is even often referred to as the type 3 diabetes. Moreover, insufficient protein intake, especially among the elderly, has been associated with muscle wasting or sarcopenia, reduced brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and poorer cognitive performance. Protein isn't just about muscle. It's also about maintaining neurotransmitter function and brain cell repair. Therefore, balanced nutrition, including sufficient protein, omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and blood sugar control is fundamental in any brain health strategy. These all may sound too complicated to you, doesn't it? So let me introduce you to a simple principle in controlling your plate content. It is called the T-shaped plate. So every time you eat, make sure you follow this rule. Half of the plate filled with vegetables and fruits that are rich in antioxidants, polyphenols, and fibers to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. The other quarter of the plate filled with whole grain or complex carbs to provide sustained energy and to help stabilize blood sugar. It is a strong link between hyperglycemia and cognitive decline. And the rest quarter of the plate would be filled with protein, which is essential for neurotransmitter function, brain repair, and maintaining lean body mass, especially in elderly populations. Ladies and gentlemen, Alzheimer's is not just a disease of forgetting. It is a crisis of disconnection. But as a professional, educators, and citizens, we are not powerless. So let us collaborate with other professionals to integrate our contribution to dementia care guidelines. Let us support psychologists and social workers in creating compassionate environments for both patients and caregivers. Let us work with technologists to design tools that remind, assist, and protect those living with memory loss. And most importantly, let us educate our students not to only memorize facts, but also to care for people with empathy, precision, and innovation. Alzheimer's may steal memories, but it should never steal dignity. Let us be the voice, the hands, and the hearts, so that those who forget are never forgotten. Thank you very much.